Hi, welcome to today's QGIS tutorial, lesson 10. In this video, we will learn selecting data and looking at the attribute table in QGIS 3.14. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so that you can get a notification when I upload the next lesson. If you're new to my channel, you can follow all my previous videos from the links in the description below. Let's get started. So there are three simple ways of selecting data in QGIS. The first way that you're going to learn is using the select tool. Then the second way we are going to be selecting our data is using selecting it directly from the attribute table. And then the third way is selecting by an expression. So we're going to use the select tool, select directly from the attribute table, and then we're going to learn how to select by expression. So let's go to QGIS and we'll start a new project. So we have a new project. We're going to load some data from the US. So I'm going to layer, add layer. If you haven't downloaded the data, you can actually download it from, I'm going to add admin 2 of the US. And I'm also going to load some crime incidences that are in Baltimore. Then I click on close and I have my data in QGIS. So I'll do a little bit of styling first. My US layer, I'm just going to change it to that color, and I'll leave my Baltimore point data crime incidences they are. So currently we have the map of US, and we want to learn how to use the different methods of selecting in QGIS. So the first way is by using the tools in the toolbar. On your toolbar, you will see there's a tool here called select feature. You can see you can select feature. You can select feature by polygon, select feature by freehand, and then select feature by radius. So if you want to select a feature, the first thing you do is you select the layer on the layers tab. Then you come to your select feature by. For our first selection, we will use the select feature. And then I'll just, maybe let me zoom in a bit to an area or a region, and I just click on the select feature again, and then I can select just a single feature, just like that, by just clicking on it. As easy as that. You can also, because it has some small rectangle here, you can just also just select this way, and anything that intersects with this selection will be selected. So I can also select here, also select here, and maybe say just here, and you can see everything that I actually select in my square is selected. That is how you select using just the select feature. Now let's try and use the select feature by polygon. So I'll select the select feature by polygon, and you can see it changes here. So for you to select feature by polygon, you'll have to select to draw a polygon. So for example, I can just decide to draw a polygon like this, and anything that intersects within these will be selected. And you can see it has selected that. I can also do the same thing like this and just draw a polygon roughly like this, and when I right click, you'll see it has selected. So left click again left click. Then when I reach the end, I can right click and you can see it is selected everything that actually I drew a polygon over it and it intersected with it. So that is one way of using the draw by polygon. Now let's move to draw by freehand. It is pretty much the same thing as draw by polygon, but the only thing is you will not be using anything, you'll just be moving your mouse, and then when you reach the end, you just click. I can click once, then left click, then move it, and then left click again, and it will select. So left click again, then you just move it over your data, and anything that intersects with it, then left click, and it will select. So that's how you use the freehand. Now let's go to select feature by radius. For this, select feature by radius. For this, now you will select a region like here, and then just move your and then just move your cursor, and you can see I am selecting a region, and there's a radius on my top right. You can see it is actually increasing and reducing the radius, and then when you reach the desired radius, you just click on top and it will select within that radius. Let me also try and use the crime data. I'm going to zoom to the crime data. So we want to select using a radius, so you make sure you select the layer first. Then I'm going to select a radius, and you can see I've selected a radius here, and then click, and you can see it has selected all these that are within my selected radius. So you can actually decide to invert the selection. How do you do the invert the selection? So that this is the area that you have selected, but now you want to omit it and you want to select the areas outside. How do you do it? You just go to your select tool here, just next to this select feature, there's another icon here. Just click on it, and you can see there is invert feature selection. When I click on it once, it will invert the selection. Now the selected area will not be selected anymore, but it will have selected now the regions that were not within the radius. So that's how you use the select tool in selecting your different features, and you can do that for points, lines, and polygons. So for our case, we have the points, which are the Baltimore crime incidents and the US admin. So now let's go to the next way of selecting using the attribute table. And before I forget, to deselect everything that you had selected, you just hover to the now to the other tab that has a red dot at the bottom. It's called the deselect feature. Just click on that, and it will deselect all the features, and you can no feature is currently selected. So now let's go to another way of now selecting using the attribute table. So we're going to now go back to our US admin 2. Then right click, open attribute table, and now we have our attribute table, and you can see it has information about this layer, and there's the name 0, which is the United States. I think this is the administrative boundary of the whole of the United States. That's the outer boundary. Then this name 1 represents the different maybe states, and then these are the different counties. Maybe name 2, I think, are the different counties. So name 1 is the different states, and then name 2 are the different counties. Yeah, you can actually see it here, type 2. So there are different counties. So we just want to now learn how to select. And there are very many ways you can just decide to select using the attribute table. First, if you want to select, maybe for example, you want to just select, because there are different counties, there are different states first, or the different counties, and you want to select, you can actually just sort them in ascending and descending. How do you do that? You just click on the title of the column, which is, you can see, for example, this is name 1. If I click on it, you can see an arrow appears showing that it has sorted them in ascending order, and you can see Alabama starts as you go down to Alaska, California, and all that. Or you can just select them in descending order, and you can see it has actually selected them in descending orders. So let's select them in ascending order. Now I want to select maybe say California. So I just move down, and the beginning of this is the first row of California is here, and it's number 184. So I'm going to click on the number here. Then I'm going to hold on the shift key on my keyboard, and then I'm just going to scroll down here while still holding the shift key as I look at my column here, and I can see the last California is here. So this is the last one. Don't remove your hand on the shift key, just maintain your hand on the shift key. Then I come and select now this number here, and you can see now you can actually now release the shift key, and you can see now I have actually selected only California. When I minimize the attribute table and I maybe zoom to layer, you can see I have actually selected only California. So from this then on, you can decide to just create a shapefile for this. We are going to learn how to do that in the next lesson. So I'm going to open the attribute table again, and then I'm going to now select a different region. I'm going to make sure that I have sorted them first, maybe in ascending or descending. Let me select let me select Alabama. So I'm going to start, this is the first one, so I'm going to select number 1 here, the first one. Then I'm just going to scroll down again. And then you can see there is Alabama. This is the last Alabama on this order, and then I'll select the number here, and you can see I have selected them. I can release my shift, and then I can just first zoom out, and you can see I've also selected Alabama here. So I have actually selected Alabama and also California. So now maybe I try selecting another layer. Now I'll now go to the Baltimore and select Baltimore, zoom to layer first so that I can see everything here. Then I can open the attribute table to see what is in the attribute table. It has so many records. And then you can see these are crime incidences, the time and all that, the weapon used and all that. So we want to maybe just say, I want to select maybe say the district, because there are different districts. So the first thing I'll do, you can see there are different districts here. I'll just sort them in ascending order. Click on this. Depending on the kind of data you're working on, if it's a lot of data, then it takes a little bit of some time to just sort it out. So now I have central, right? So I'm going to just select the incidences in central. So I'm going to just click on the central here first, hold the shift to make sure that it highlights actually that record here on the number. So I'm going to select number 1, and I'm just going to scroll down as I'm looking at the attribute table up to the last of central here. Oh, it's still, there's a small way to go. This is a bit cumbersome. It's always a bit cumbersome to use this, so I will not encourage you to use this so much if you have many records. So you can see central, the last central is here, and select this. Then I can, before I release the shift, I have to make sure that I select, and it has selected the record. And you can see here selected 9,738 records, and when I zoom, you can see now it has selected for the central region. To deselect everything, I just click on And actually, before you deselect, you can actually now create a new layer from these and be able to just work with only the central data. So to deselect everything that I had actually selected, I click on these deselect features and it's deselected. So that's the second way of just using the attribute table to select your data. Now let's go to the third way of selecting using an expression. Select layer by expression is for advanced selection. So in order for you to be able to now use the select layer by expression, you can just go to the layer, right click on the layer that you want to do your selection, open the attribute table. Now look at the attribute table. What do you want to use an expression to? For example, I want to select the biggest state, which is California, and all its counties. So what do? You can see there are some tools here at the top of the attribute table. If you scroll, you'll see this tool here called select feature using an expression. You can select that and a calculator appears here. So what do you want to do? We don't want to do anything advanced for right now. We just want to dwell on the fields and values. You can see there is some space here, and then there's some things you can actually do, like for example aggregate, array, color, conditionals. You can do conversions, data type, fields and values. So we're actually working on fields and values. So I'm going to select field and values. And what fields and values do you want to use? We want to use name1, right? This is the field that you want to use. No, sorry, fields and values. So what do we want to use under the fields and values? We want to use the name1, right? So we want to say we want name1, which is, and you can see it has been added into our calculator, which is equal to, and now we're going to list all the unique values first. We have selected name1 is equal to, now we want to see all the uniques that are in name1, all the unique values that are in name1. So I'm going to click on all unique values and it will give me all the states in the US. So what do? I want California. I'll now select California by double clicking on it, and you see it has been added into our expression. So we want name1 is equals to California. Then I'll click on select features just once, and I just move it aside. And you can see if I scroll like this, you can see it has actually selected California. And even on our map, you can see it has selected California. So let's go to another one. I'll just delete this expression here. Then I'll still say name1 is equal to, let me click on all unique. It has given me all the unique chart, which is that. Then I'll say name1 is equals to, let's go to Kansas. Then select feature, and it will select 105. Then I open the attribute table here. I can actually see the selections, which is Kansas. You can see, so it has actually selected all of Kansas. So that's how you and to deselect, you just click on deselect. Nothing is still selected. So I'll pan zoom to layer, and then we are now going to the Baltimore crime incidents, right? Zoom to the Baltimore crime incidents, and now we want to know we want to do the same thing, and we want to select something. Like for example, when you open our attribute table, it gives us the attribute table here, and you can see there's so much information about these crime incidences. So we are interested in the kind of weapon that is used. So for example, I want to just see how many knife incidences have been reported and where are they. So I'm going to use now, selecting it by one is quite cumbersome. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, as I'll clear the selection, then I'm going to select it by expression. So I'm going to click on the expression again. Then we are still working with the fields and values. So I'm going to select fields and values. Then I will say I want a weapon. So double click on weapon here to be added on your calculator is equal to, then I will list all the kinds of weapons before I select the weapon that I want to use. So to use for the selection, so I'm going to say click on all unique, and you can see there are 4 ways of weapons that were used. There is the firearm, hands, knife, and others. So I'm just going to select knife. So I'm going to double click on knife. It has been added into our expression, and then I click on select feature, and you can see it has selected all the features that have knife as the weapon. So you can actually just decide to click on this to move the selection on the top. It will take a little bit of time, but it will move all these selections at the top. Yes, now you can see it has moved all the selections at the top. So all these are knives, and from this then on, if I do this, you can actually see the knife incidences and where they are. So actually you can now create new data of just showing all the knife incidences and where they happen. So that is how you use the expression to do selection. There are actually more advanced ways of doing your selection because you have very many options here. You have very many options in your expression. So there are very many options here where you can just decide to customize it and put it in the expression and select the feature. We are going to do that in a more advanced level of QGIS. So now I can decide to create new data from the crime incidences because we have actually selected the knife weapon, the knife incidences, the yellow selections of the knife incidences within Baltimore. So I want to now just have the layers of the knife incidences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my layer, click on export, then save selected features as. Now we are just dealing with the selected features. So I'm going to save selected features as. Then I'm going to now look for where I'm going to save my data, and I'm going to say these are knife incidents. Knife incidents. So I'm going to save it as a shapefile. And I'm going to load it back into our map. So I'm going to click on OK. And you can see now I have new shapefiles, the brown ones. We just zoom to layer. And you can see I have now brown colored. Let me just change the color to green. So you can now see the green ones are now the knife incidences within Baltimore. And that is now how you get new data from existing data. If you found this video useful and you want to learn more on QGIS 3.14, subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. Otherwise, I'm just happy you're here. See you in the next lesson.